Hey, what's up, buds? Welcome back to Wake Up Wednesday with Nat. I'm Nat, and today we're continuing in our 5-part series on how to improve our relationships. Last week, we started with part 1, which was learning tactics on how to improve communication. If you missed it, I'll be sure to drop a link below in the description for you to grab at your convenience. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into part 2. This is focusing on the positives. Look, relationships are challenging. It's what we've been talking about. And we all have problems. It doesn't matter how long you've been married, whether you're married, being in a relationship with anyone is hard. But when we're in an intimate relationship with somebody that we see all the time, it just throws other layers of challenges. So today we're talking about focusing on the positives. Now, I don't mean sitting in your chair, cross-legged with your beads on a cushion, focusing on nothing but the positives and pretending that everything is kumbaya. This is not fantasy land, positive thinking, everything is great, there are no problems in my relationship. Definitely not. That's not reality. And like we talked about last week, we want to make sure we're using tactics to start getting to the root of some of the challenges to have better relationships with our significant others. But just like our negative thoughts in our own mind about ourselves, right? Those you're not good enough, you're not enough to do this, who do you think you are? You're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough. How dare you? Who do you think you are? All of those negative thoughts, that tape that plays in our own heads about ourselves. Guess what? We have another tape that plays like that about others around us, and it can start to trickle over into our relationships with our significant other. And because we see them all the time, they're right there in our face. So our brain starts doing that same cycle about our significant other. So what I'm suggesting today is this. We have to be conscious and make an active effort to focus on the positives. Think about it. When was the last time you thought about your first, second, or third date? Think about it now. Think about your first, second, or third date. Pick one. Do you remember what you did, where you went? I'm willing to bet that as you think about that, you're probably smiling. You were probably over the moon excited and also probably very nervous at a chance to interact with this person that you found yourself attracted to for whatever reason or reasons. But we very rarely spend time there, right? Because maybe that was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 2 years ago. And so we stopped thinking about how we felt about that person that we're choosing to be with when we first met and what attracted us to them in the first place. So today's assignment is going to be this, and do it over the next week or the next couple of weeks if it takes you that long. But honestly, I expect that it should be pretty quick. If you sit down and do this exercise, you should be able to just do a quick brain dump of everything in your head about what I'm going to tell you next. So you're going to get out 2 pieces of paper. What I want you to do, and for this one, I'm big on writing, y'all. There's something about pen to paper, makes it more real. It gets us to focus. So get out 2 pieces of paper. On the first piece of paper, I want you to write down all of the things that drive you crazy about your significant other. Everything, every reason you can't stand them, whether it's how they chew their food, whether it's, my husband says I chew popcorn just terribly. I'm not allowed to have popcorn with him on movie nights. Or whether it's how they pronounce a certain word. Sit down, take out that piece of paper while you're drinking your coffee and just write down all the reasons you are annoyed with your significant other. Maybe you're straight up pissed off, and that's okay too. Whatever comes to mind, those negative thoughts, just write those down. Don't think about it. Don't overanalyze. Don't go down a rabbit hole. It's literally a brain dump. We're just going to think about that and then just write down everything that comes to mind. All right. Once you're done with that, that's why I probably don't encourage that you do this over the course of several days. I think just sit down, do it in one session, quick and dirty, and be done with it. Once you've completed that list and nothing else comes to mind, remember, be brutally honest here. Put that list in a safe place. Hopefully somewhere your significant other can't find it. It's not for them, it's for you. And put it away because we're going to use that on a future exercise. Now, take out your second sheet of paper. And on this piece of paper, I want you to write down all of the reasons, all of the qualities, all of the things that you appreciate and love about your partner. And look, depending on where you are in your relationship right now, that might be hard in and of itself. You might say, well, I'm pretty pissed off, so I don't want to think about any of the good stuff. All right, but for this to work, go back then to when you met that person. Maybe before your first date, even. What was it when you saw them from across the room or wherever you met them? What were the things that came up about them as you got to know them that you really liked and were attracted to and over time fell in love with? Those are the things I want you to pay attention to. When you think about those things, and I'll give you some examples for me, my husband has this incredible ability. It's a gift, really. I know very few people that are able to do this, but he treats everybody that he interacts with as a human being, and just as a person. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, their age, whether they're a man or a woman, whether they're kids, rich or poor, it literally doesn't matter. He treats everyone the same. He gives them the time of day. He looks them in the eye. He engages in conversation. Regardless of his mood, it doesn't matter if he's not having the best day. Anytime he interacts with another person, the grocery store, whatever, he has an ability to connect with them, and it's unbelievably remarkable. And I noticed that right away when I met him. And even now, as I talk to you about it, I can feel like a tingling in all of my cells of how excited and how incredible I find that attribute about him. He also has a really good sense of humor and is good with kids. I loved how he was with his nieces and nephews, and he was just like a really cool uncle. So some of those things that I don't think about now, as I'm talking to you and I remember them, I'm like, yeah, that's why I fell in love with him. That's why I chose to be with him. That's why I chose to marry him and continue on in this relationship. Even if you're not married, y'all, why you can either stay or you can go. So to be brutally honest here, those are really your two choices. But if you're gonna stay, that is a choice to stay. So it should also be a choice to make it meaningful and enjoyable for both you and your significant other. We all have our problems. I have friends that are millionaires. I have friends that don't have very much money. They work just enough to kind of get by, maybe living paycheck to paycheck. I've seen both ends of the spectrum, and everybody has their issues. Every couple has their issues, but choosing to stay is literally an active choice you make from moment to moment, to choose to love, to choose to care, to choose to make it better. So I challenge you. I really challenge you. Unless you're pondering the decision to go, which is totally fine. You want to be in this relationship, you can improve it. So do your homework assignment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you found. And I'll check back in with you next week and see how you're doing. I hope you join me on our part 3. We're going to be tuning in next week together. But so far, stick to it while we talk about and unpack the 5 tactics for improving our relationship. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. Bye.